If you want to learn how to take amazing macro photos, but you don't want to be bothered with buying an expensive dedicated macro lens, then keep watching, because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can take amazing macro photos on a budget. Hi, Paul here from Photogenius. Welcome to my channel where I like to post regular photography tutorials. I share tips and tricks, all designed to help you get more from your digital camera. So if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Now, I am fascinated by macro photography and occasionally I love taking macro photos, even though I don't own a dedicated macro lens. But that doesn't stop me from taking amazing photos like these. And you can too. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it's done. Now, macro lenses can be very expensive. As an example, I've got my eye on the new Nikon 105mm macro for the Z mount. Now, here in Australia, that's going to cost me about $1,600, which is about $1,100 in the USA. Now, until I've saved up my pennies for that lens, I'm going to continue to take macro photos using these. These are macro extension tubes, and this is a very inexpensive way of taking amazing macro photos on a budget. Now, compared to the cost of buying a macro lens, extension tubes are really cheap. In fact, I found some listed on Amazon which are 1/10 of the cost of buying a dedicated macro lens. And if you want to find out more, I've included links to those in the description below this video. Okay, so let's get started, and the best place to begin is for me to explain what are extension tubes, how do they work, how do we use them, and of course I'm going to be taking some photos. This particular set of 3 extension tubes includes a 36mm, 20mm and 12mm extension tube. These are made by a company called Canon. Now, whilst these might look like small lenses, they don't actually have any glass. All these are designed to do is make the space between the lens and the camera bigger, and for that reason sometimes they're also known as spacers. To show how extension tubes work, here is a side-on view of a camera. Inside the camera there is a sensor, and inside the lens there are a number of pieces of glass. These are called elements. Now, we don't need to overcomplicate this, so let's just look at one piece of glass. Now, here is our subject, and light reflecting off the subject passes through the lens and is recorded by the sensor. Now, make a note of how the light converges as it passes through the lens element. Now, if we remove the lens, attach an extension ring and then reattach the lens, because the glass is now further from the sensor, the image is projected larger onto the sensor. Effectively, this is magnifying the subject so the camera can capture more detail. So here is my setup for today's video, and I wanted to keep it really simple. So I'm using a Canon DSLR, but will be featuring a Nikon camera as well in this video. I've got a mini tripod, extension tubes, and I picked up some flowers from the local florist to give myself something to photograph. So the first thing I'm going to do now is set everything up and do some test shots. So here I'm using a mini tripod. This particular one is a Manfrotto Pixie Evo and a Canon 1500D, which is a T7 if you're in the USA. Now, I attach the extension tube to the camera, and I'm going to start with the smaller 12mm tube. Then all I need to do is reconnect the lens and I'm good to go. These particular extension tubes do have the connectivity pins that allow the camera to effectively communicate with the lens. This will allow the camera's metering and autofocus system to work as normal. However, in this video, I'm going to be using manual focus. A top tip is also to turn off image stabilizer if you're using a tripod. Okay, time for a macro tip. Now, autofocus is okay, you can certainly use it, but most macro photographers prefer to use manual focus. Now, my tip if you're using manual focus is to use your camera's digital zoom. All you've got to do is turn on the live view, press the zoom button on the back of the camera, which will enlarge the part of the area that you're focusing on. This will make focusing manually much easier and is my preferred way of doing things. Now, tip number 2 is I find I get the best results from the macro extension tubes when they're attached to a standard lens. So all the images that you see in this video have been shot using the 18 to 55mm kit lens that most of you will have, as it normally comes with the camera. For this video, I'm setting the camera to the manual mode, but please use the mode that you're the most confident with. So looking at the screen, MF confirms that I'm using manual focus. Now the first thing I want to do is work on composition. So I'm actually going to turn on the live view button. And if the screen looks really dark, to lighten it up, all you've got to do is dial to the left with the dial on the top of the camera. Dial to the left will slow the shutter down, let more light in, and your image will get brighter. And of course, if your image is too bright, dial to the right to make it darker. So once you've got something you like, that's fine. Now we're going to work on focus. Now this actually looks pretty sharp, but to find out, I'm going to use the zoom button. So I press the plus button and I find out that the subject actually isn't all that sharp. Now I've got two things I can do. I can adjust the focus on the lens by adjusting the focus ring, or I can actually slide the camera backwards and forwards. As I do, you should see the subject going in and out of focus. So sometimes it's a combination of both. But why does moving the camera affect focus? Well, to help explain this, take a look at this coin. Look really carefully and you will see that only the center of the coin is in focus. This is because the point of focus dictates the plane of focus. Move the camera and we move the plane of focus. So now the top of the coin is in focus, the middle and lower part of the coin is out of focus. Moving the camera once again, this time further away, and once again the plane of focus also moves in relation to the lens, and of course with this shot it's the bottom of the coin which is now in focus. So now I'm going to work on exposure. I'm temporarily going to turn live view off, and let's go through the camera settings. Now ISO, keep it low, so if the ISO wasn't at 200 I would be putting it at 200. You can also try 100 if you wish, but I'm going to go with 200, which is generally my default. Now in terms of aperture, this small f number means the aperture is wide open. Now this will give us a shallow depth of field, but we want more clarity and sharpness in our image. So what I'm going to do is hold down the AV button, turn the dial on the top of the camera and increase this f number to f8 to begin with. Now I'm going to check the exposure by pressing the shutter button lightly and adjusting the shutter speed until the little marker is on the 0. And now I'm going to go back to live view. So I'm going to turn on the live view and we can see our image. Now of course we can fine tune the exposure at any time just by turning the dial to the right or to the left to brighten the image up. Okay, so I'm ready to take my first test shot. Now, as you can see, the tiniest bit of movement of the camera is going to cause blur. So to minimize this, I'm going to press Q and I'm going to turn the self timer on. I go down to the drive mode, currently set to single shooting. I select timer. I'm going to go for the 10-second timer, press set, and we're ready to go. So all I've got to do now is press the button. Alternative to using the camera self timer is to use a remote, but of course every camera has a timer built in and it's free. Okay, there's our first photo. So let's press play. Let's zoom in. And that looks pretty good for a first shot. Using a shutter speed of 1/5 of a second, an aperture of f8 and ISO at 200, I'm really pleased with this image. And I'm particularly happy with the clarity and detail in the center of the flower. Next, I wanted to swap the 12mm extension tube for a 20mm tube. Now because I've added a longer extension tube, I'm going to have to change the composition slightly because everything's changed, the focal length is different, and the longer the extension tube, the bigger the magnification. So once again, I'm just sliding the camera backwards and forwards until I think I like the composition. I'm then going to turn the focus ring to get the subject nice and sharp, zoom in, okay, once I like what I see, I'm just going to zoom back out, and I think that looks pretty good. The timer is still set from last time, so all I've got to do again is press the button, wait for the 10-second countdown, and hopefully we'll have another nice macro shot. Okay, let's press play and have a look, check out the detail. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. Okay, let's do another shot this time so we can compare what a difference changing the aperture makes. So I'm going to turn live view off. I'm going to close the aperture down to f16. I'm going to turn live view back on. Because I've made an adjustment to the aperture, it's affected the exposure. So I'm going to slow the shutter right down to get the exposure level I want. Press the button. Once again, stand back, being careful not to touch the camera or move anything. So here is the image taken with the aperture at f8 and here taken at f16. Now compare the two images side by side and you can clearly see the difference. Now to keep things interesting, something I often like to do is to swap backgrounds. Here I'm using black foam board, which is very handy and you can pick it up from stores that sell art supplies. Another tip is to use a spray bottle to add small water droplets onto the petals of the flower. These will catch the light and add some extra interest to the subject. So now with the black background I'm getting a completely different look. A good tip is to experiment with composition, framing and angles. Photographing the back of a flower isn't something I would have considered, so I want to thank Darren Gentle for the inspiration. He is an amazing macro photographer from Sydney and I recommend checking out his images on Instagram. Still using the 20mm extension tube, I'm really amazed with the clarity and detail that I'm getting with these images, especially considering I'm just using a kit lens and an entry-level DSLR. Next, to change of camera, I'm now using the Nikon D3500 with the 36mm extension tube. So let me run through setting up a Nikon camera. Now first I'm going to set the focus to manual. Now if your lens does not have a switch on the side, all you need to do is press the I button on the back of the camera, go to the focus modes and select MF for manual focus. Make sure you press OK. Now let's check our exposure settings. Now the ISO is already at 200, which is fine. Next is aperture. Now I want to use a smaller aperture, which is a bigger f number, to give me a sharper image. So I hold down the button on the top of the camera and then I dial to the right and I'm going to go with f16. Next, checking the camera's meter, we are currently underexposing, so I'm going to slow the shutter down to let more light into the camera. The aim is to get the marker in the middle. Once done, I'm going to turn on the live view and use the zoom button to help me check focus. Adjusting the focus manually using the lens may take a few moments, but it's worth investing the time. And once I'm ready, I can take my first test shot. A reminder once again to use the camera's self-timer. A change of subject and a touch more water, and I'm absolutely loving these images taken with the Nikon. Now this flower, and I've no idea what it is, I think provided some of the more interesting images. I really love the vibrant colours and the detail is incredible. Now I want to remind you once again that all the images in this video were taken with entry-level cameras, the standard 18 to 55mm kit lens and macro extension tubes. Now if you are new to macro photography, I definitely recommend practicing and starting out by taking photos indoors. That way you don't have any concerns or worries about your subject moving about in the wind. Taking macro photos outside is a whole different ball game and is a lot more challenging. If that's something you'd like to see in a future video from me, let me know in the comments down below. So I really hope you've enjoyed this week's video and it's inspired you to have a go at macro photography. Don't forget to check out the links below for great deals on macro extension tubes. And of course, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up because it does help the channel get noticed and the videos get seen. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on future videos. All that's left is for me to say thanks again for watching. I hope to see you again sometime soon. See ya. Bye.